welcome. You're watching Republic TV with me, Akanksha Khajuri, and this evening we are bringing you the top 6 stories of the day, 6 stories that deserve your attention and time. And first up, there's a major twist in the Dharmasthala mass burial case. Remember that man, the man in mask who had said that hundreds of bodies were buried in the temple town between 1995 and 2014. Now, his ex-wife has come to the fore, and she has now said that he was actually paid money to say all this. And next, if you in fact feed stray dogs in public, you must watch this next story, as the Supreme Court has banned the public feeding of the stray dogs. And then to the state of Bihar, where the Prime Minister in fact today sounded the poll bugle just ahead of the elections. And then to Sri Lanka, where the former president of in fact Sri Lanka has been arrested for the misuse of the state funds for his personal use. And then back in India, in the national capital, where very concerning news is coming in. A man tried to scale the wall of the Parliament of India just a day after the monsoon session of the Parliament got over. He has been nabbed, and we will tell you who he actually is. And lastly, as the Tamil Nadu gears up for the 2026 Assembly elections, the AIADMK has hit the ground running. These are the top 6 stories that we're tracking for you this evening. Let's get started. A shocking new twist has come to the fore in the Dharmasthala mass burial case. The man in mask, the main complainant in the case, the whistleblower, has been exposed by his own wife. In fact, his ex-wife has now claimed that he was paid money to tarnish the reputation of the holy site of Dharmasthala. Huge allegation at a time when the police is looking at the conspiracy angle amid the massive protests that are taking every day by the Hindu organizations. Watch this.
Another day, another major twist in the Dharmasthala hoax case. In a sensational Republic Kannada expose, the hoax propaganda has been unmasked. The masked man's own wife has come forward with shocking revelations admitting he was paid to spread lies. She revealed that there was a deliberate and sinister plot to tarnish the reputation of Dharmasthala, an institution that has served the poor for centuries.
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಣ್ಣ, ಅದೇನು ಬರೀ ಸುಳ್ಳೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾರೋ ದುಡ್ಡು ಗಿಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿಸಿರೋದು ಏನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಇವನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗುಂಡಿ ತೆಗೆದಿದ್ದ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಇವನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬೇಕಂತ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೋ ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿಸೋದ್ನೋ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳೋದು ಸುಳ್ಳು. ಅವನು ಆಗುತ್ತೇನೆ ಪಾಪ. ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನ ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೀತಿ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಆ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದ ಹೆಗ್ಗಡೆ ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಂಸಾರಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ಸಾಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅವರು ಕೈಯಿಂದ ದುಡ್ದು ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ಹಸ್ದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಊಟ ಹಾಕ್ತವ್ರೆ ಪಾಪ. ಅಂಥವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇವರು ಈ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಯಾಯವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದು ತುಂಬ ತಪ್ಪು. ಅವರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೆಲ್ಲ ತಪ್ಪು. ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ.
If that's not enough, here's another clincher clip exposing the conspiracy. Anti-Dharmasthala activists were seen holding a secret meeting in Bengaluru, and you can hear one of them even saying that the fight is against the 2 lakh crore rupee empire.
ಯಾವನೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರಭಾವಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾನೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರಭಾವಿನ ಕಾಪಾಡಬೇಕಂದು RSS ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸಂತೋಷ ಏನು ಅವನು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋ MLAಗಳು MP ಗಳು ಆ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಈ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಯಡಿಯೂರಪ್ಪ ಲಾಯರ್ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಇಡೀ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋರಾಟಗಳು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 1,000 ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. 500 ಕಾರು 300 ಕಾರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಎಂಪೈರ್ ಇದಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ವೀರೇಂದ್ರ ಹೆಗ್ಡೆ ಎಂಪೈರ್. ಇದು ಒಂದು 2 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ ಎಂಪೈರ್. ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ 75,000 ಜನ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹ್ಯೂಜ್ ಎಂಪೈರ್ ವರ್ಸಸ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬರ್ಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್.
Meanwhile, YouTuber Sameer, against whom a suo motu case was registered at the Dharmasthala police station, has secured bail from the Mangaluru district court. Sameer is now likely to appear for questioning at the Dharmasthala police station today, accompanied by his lawyers. Meanwhile, a massive protest rally erupted in Madhugiri, condemning the smear campaign against Dharmasthala. Hundreds of devotees and supporters took to the streets, Leaders from across party lines, including former Congress Minister K.N. Rajanna, also joined the march. Several seers and heads of organizations walked shoulder to shoulder in solidarity, sending a strong message that the age-old temple cannot be maligned. The rally began at Tumkuru Gate Circle and wound its way through Doom Light Circle, culminating at the Madhugiri private bus stand. The unholy conspiracy has been exposed, and the plotters are running out of cover.
So the Dharmasthala mass burial case and the hoax has been exposed. In fact, the police is now looking into the money laundering trail as well, and the sources are telling us that the Enforcement Directorate could be roped in the coming days. So it remains to be seen what really comes out. Now shifting our focus to the national capital as far as the street dog menace case is concerned. If you feed stray dogs in your locality, then you must listen to this carefully, as this news is for you. The Supreme Court has imposed a blanket ban on the feeding of dogs in public area, ordering that feeding areas will soon be created and identified, keeping in view the population and concentration of the street dogs. But furthermore, what is more important is that the Supreme Court has modified its earlier order on the stray dogs, which had stated that they would be picked up from the streets and they would be confined to a dedicated shelter permanently. Now, tweaking that order, the Supreme Court has said and directed that dogs would now be released in the areas from where they would be in fact picked up after sterilization, deworming and vaccination. Watch this report to know more.
Public feeding banned. Catch, neuter and release of street dogs ordered by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has tweaked its earlier order in the street dog menace case, banning the public feeding of street dogs. The dogs will be rounded up, but in a sigh of relief to many, dogs once sterilized and immunized will be returned to the same locality.
बड़ा स्पेसिफिक कोर्ट ने कहा है कि those dogs who are being captured, they should be sterilized, they should be vaccinated and they should be sent back to the same spot from where they have picked. Yes, of course, they have also said that those dogs which are not safe for society, means के ferocious है या biting है या उनको rabies है, उनको आप shelter home में रखेंगे और उनका आप care करेंगे वहाँ पे.
However, the court has said that those showing signs of rabies and aggressive behavior will be excluded and kept separately. The court also ordered the establishment of the designated feeding zones. Action will be taken against those who are found feeding the dogs in public. The decision of the Supreme Court has been welcomed by many activists and lawyers.
We are extremely grateful for the Honorable Apex Court to have upheld the rule of law and justice and to have been sensitive to the culture and the emotions of people across the country, which have actually been a basis of our civilization.
While others have hit out at the dog lover lobby.
सबसे ज़्यादा तो वो यही कह रहे थे कि हमें कुत्तों को खिलाने नहीं दिया जा रहा, हमारे को ये कि नहीं जा रहा. फिर जो ABC रूल्स हैं वो कहते थे कि अगर कोई कुत्ता काटने वाला है या रेबिस है उसको 10 दिन इलाज करने के बाद छोड़ दिया जाए. अब छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा जो एग्रेसिव है. अब ये जो डॉग लवर्स हैं शोर मचा रहे हैं, एग्रेसिव की डेफिनेशन क्या है, काटने वाले की डेफिनेशन क्या है ना, तो उसके ऊपर ये शोर मचा रहे हैं. तो ये कोई ना कोई पॉइंट ढूंढते रहेंगे जाके, इनको किसी चीज से सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं है.
With this, the focus is now on the implementation of the Supreme Court's order.
And now we have breaking news coming in. FBI has raided the former US NSA National Security Advisor John Bolton's Maryland home, and this just as the FBI Director Kash Patel's ambiguous post on social media, and he said, and I quote, "No one is above the law." We're learning that the agents have stormed his home in the United States in a high-profile national security probe that involves classified documents is what we're learning. So this is a big crackdown by the FBI agents there. We're learning that just a while back they had raided the Maryland home of John Bolton, who has been the former national security advisor to the President Donald Trump. And remember, in the last few weeks, he had become a staunch critic of the President Donald Trump. And this raid is a part of a national security investigation in the search of classified records from his home. And regarding this, we are learning just a while back, his home in Maryland was raided by the FBI agents. In fact, an official statement has come in from FBI, and they have said, and I quote, the FBI is conducting court-authorized activity in the area. There is no threat to public safety. But very important that FBI Director Kash Patel has said that no one is above the law. Now, for more on this, let me bring in Eric Ryan, USA-based journalist who's live from Georgia. Now, we're learning that at this point in time, the raid is currently underway as far as the former NSA of Donald Trump is concerned. But what is concerning here is that he had become a staunch critic of Donald Trump in the last few days. So is that a crackdown for that particular reason?
And we need to remember that John Bolton did write a book. He wrote a memoir that did map out some very high sensitive national security issues that were not made public to the United States people. So he was facing some criticism there anyway. I think this was just the first step in a probably most likely a long list of high profile people that we'll start seeing being investigated by the FBI.
All right. So, in fact, U.S. talks about democracy and the freedom of expression, but many are asking how they can they, crack down as far as their former NSA is concerned. But do tell us what is happening at this point in time and put in perspective the entire case under which he's being raided right now.
I think there's a fine line between freedom of speech and freedom of expression and revealing national security secrets. And I think John Bolton has crossed that line several times over and over again. This FBI raid comes to no surprise to me, as we've seen John Bolton continually advocate for war, and especially in the Middle East. He's kind of been our problem child, and he. For many, many years, I believe he did believe he was above the law, and he found out today that he's probably not going to be above the law much longer.
Absolutely. It remains to be seen whether FBI finds the documents that they are looking at as far as this raid is concerned. Thanks so much for speaking to Republic TV on this. And our Prime Minister has sounded the poll bugle in the state of Bihar, where he launched several projects and addressed a massive rally there. He also spoke at length on Operation Sindoor and how our forces nullified every attack that had come from Pakistan. The Prime Minister also launched a fierce attack on the opposition parties, while also backing 3 bills, remember, that allow the removal of the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister and the ministers of the state if they remain in jail for over 30 days on the serious charges. Listen into what the Prime Minister said today.
Prime Minister has sounded the poll bugle in the state of Bihar. Addressing a public rally in Gayaji in Bihar, Prime Minister spoke on Corrupt Neta Bill, saying corrupt ministers who are jailed cannot and should not remain ministers.
आप कहिए भाइयों, जो जेल जाए उसने कुर्सी छोड़नी चाहिए कि नहीं छोड़नी चाहिए? क्या वो कुर्सी पर बैठे रह सकता है क्या? क्या वो सरकारी फाइलों पे साइन कर सकता है क्या? क्या जेल में से कोई सरकार चला सकता है क्या? और इसलिए ऐसा सख्त कानून बनाने की तरफ हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। लेकिन साथियों, ये आरजेडी वाले, ये कांग्रेस वाले ये लेफ्ट वाले इस कानून का विरोध कर रहे हैं। ये बहुत गुस्से में है और कौन नहीं जानता उनको किस बात का डर है, और इसलिए सुबह शाम ये लोग मोदी को भांति भांति की गाली दे रहे हैं और इतने बौखलाए हुए हैं कि इस जनहित के कानून का विरोध कर रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister also hailed the success of Operation Sindoor, saying our forces nullified every attack of Pakistan.
ऑपरेशन सिंदूर ने भारत की रक्षा नीति की नई लकीर खींच दी है। अब भारत में आतंकवादी भेजकर हमले करा के कोई बच नहीं सकेगा। आतंकवादी चाहे पाताल में क्यों न छिप जाए, भारत की मिसाइलें उन्हें दफन करके रहेगी।
And now shifting our focus, Sri Lanka's politician and former president of Sri Lanka, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has been arrested in Colombo earlier today, facing allegations of corruption and financial misconduct. His arrest, in fact, is linked to allegation of using the state fund to cover the expenses for a private visit to London, where he had, in fact, attended the university graduation ceremony. Now, the police is saying that the trip was not the official engagement, but was a financed one with the government money. Watch this report.
Veteran Sri Lankan politician and former President Ranil Wickremesinghe has now come under the corruption lens. Once regarded as a seasoned statesman, Wickremesinghe today faces serious allegations of financial misconduct. He was arrested in Colombo after hours of questioning by the Criminal Investigation Department. The charges stem from a foreign tour undertaken in September 2023 during his tenure as president. Investigators say Wickremesinghe was officially scheduled to visit the United States and Cuba. However, midway through the tour, he diverted to London. The CID alleges that the London stopover was not part of his official program. Instead, Wickremesinghe attended a private ceremony linked to his wife at a British university. This detour, according to investigators, was funded by the state. Nearly 16.9 million Sri Lankan rupees of public money was spent on travel, accommodation and associated expenses. What raised further suspicion was the size of his entourage. Close to 10 individuals are said to have accompanied the former president on this stopover, inflating the overall costs. Several aides from the presidential office have already testified before investigators. Their statements point to irregularities in how state funds were diverted for personal use. The CID insists that the London visit had no official relevance and categorizes the expenditure as clear misuse of public funds. As the probe deepens, the case is being seen as a key test of Sri Lanka's resolve to hold its political elite accountable under corruption charges.
And now to the national capital, a major security breach has taken place in the Parliament of India today as a man attempted to scale the wall of the Parliament by climbing the adjacent tree and then jumping into the premises. The intruder has been identified as Rama, a 20-year-old man from Uttar Pradesh, and police now says that he's mentally incoherent. Here's the full report.
A major security breach took place in the Parliament today. A man tried to scale the wall of the Parliament of India by climbing the adjacent tree and jumping into the premises. The intruder has been identified as Rama, a 20-year-old man hailing from Uttar Pradesh. Alert CISF and police staff promptly apprehended the person. Now the police is trying to find out the motive. The incident comes a day after the monsoon session of the parliament concluded.
In a major security breach early this morning at around 6 a.m., a person tried to breach the Parliament House complex security. And here you can see this is the perimeter of the Parliament House complex, where that person tried to enter into the Parliament House complex, where the vigilant CISF team and the Delhi police team has apprehended that person. And right now that person is being interrogated by the Delhi police team, in which what we have got to learn that the person has been identified as a 19-year-old person who has been identified as Ram, and he hails from UP's Bhadoi district, and he works at a factory in Gujarat's Surat. So right now he's being interrogated, and further details will come out during the interrogation process that why did he breach this security wall at the Parliament House complex.
This is not the first attempted security breach at the Parliament of India. On August 16th last year, a man from UP had scaled the wall and jumped inside the Parliament of India. In December 2023, two men jumped inside the Lok Sabha chamber from the visitors' gallery, raising slogans and opening the canister that emitted yellow smoke. Another attempted intrusion in the Parliament of India, successfully foiled by alert CISF and Delhi police officials.
And now shifting our focus to the state of Tamil Nadu as it gears up for the 2026 assembly elections, the AIADMK has hit the ground running. Party General Secretary has wrapped up the first phase of his statewide campaign, covering over 100 constituencies in the state of Tamil Nadu over the last 1 month. Here's a report on AIADMK's show of strength from Coimbatore today. Watch this.
Ahead of the 2026 Tamil Nadu assembly elections, AIADMK General Secretary Edappadi K. Palaniswamy launched his statewide campaign. The AIADMK show of strength kick-started from Coimbatore, a traditional AIADMK stronghold in the western region of the state. After campaigning in over 100 constituencies, he marked the end of the first phase. The leader completed the 100 constituencies of the 234 in Tamil Nadu in 34 days, and the ADMK party calls it a super century. In fact, it was to Republic that Palaniswamy had promised to meet people from all the constituencies.
எங்களுடைய திட்டம் 234 தொகுதிகளிலும் மக்களை நேரில் சந்தித்து அவர்களுடைய கருத்துக்களை கேட்க வேண்டும், அதோட அவளுடைய எழுச்சி பார்க்க வேண்டும். அதுதான் எங்களுடைய திட்டம். அனைத்து சட்டமன்றத்திலும் செல்ல வேண்டும் திட்டமிட்டு தான் தினம் 3 சட்டமன்ற தொகுதி நாங்கள் நிர்ணயிக்கப்பட்டு இதுவரை நாங்கள் எழுச்சி பயணத்தை மேற்கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். முடிந்தவரை 234 தொகுதியில் இருக்கின்ற மக்களையும் சந்திக்க முடியும் என்ற நம்பிக்கை எங்களிடத்தில் இருக்கிறது.
Barely months away from the Tamil Nadu State Assembly elections, the battle is only heating up.
This is all we could pack for you at 6 at 6. We'll be back tomorrow with more such stories. Till then, keep watching Republic TV.